Howdy. So, the witch is in. Comment, question, ask me whatever you want to ask. We'll see how many more of these I do if we don't get a lot of participation, because it's kind of boring to sit here and talk to myself. So I've been thinking a lot this last week as we have watched all of the protesting and rioting and whatever else you want to call it. I'm not even sure what to call it anymore. So I've been thinking about street medics and medical magic. I'm not sure that's quite the right word either, but anyway, holistic ways that we might approach things like dealing with stressful situations and dealing with things sort of in the middle of an emergency, right? Because this is not, it's not like you can step outside of the current situation. It's everywhere. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look. You would have to sign off of social media and not talk to anybody and not watch TV and not watch the news. And then what would you do? So, one of the things that I totally think every witch should have on hand is rescue remedy. Now, whether you get that from the Bachflower people, which rescue remedy is their trademarked name, or whether you get it from Flower Essence Services, where they call it the 5-flower formula, or whether you get it from a practitioner who makes their own either their own blends or their own actual mother essences. Rescue remedy is the sort of thing that's good in an emergency when you don't know what else to do first. It's a set of 5 flowers that are meant to work together, 5 essences, sort of as a first aid. That's really the way it's envisioned, is that it's first aid. It's the thing you take right now when you don't have time to look for a more specific remedy that's more appropriate. It works on just about any kind of trauma or upset or emotional need or anything like that. I have been known to carry the Bachflower people make a tin of pastilles. They're like little candies. They're not super sweet. But they make these tins of little candy type things that have rescue remedy in them. And like I've carried those to funerals and just like handed them out. Or other situations where people are really sort of out of sorts. I use them on the kids a lot because my daughter has severe anxiety, and anything we can do to sort of take the edge off for her is a good thing. And then it's one thing that you can carry. You don't have to have a whole set of everything. You don't have to have all the right possibilities and all the things to pick from. And I mean, there's 38 Bach flowers, but if you talk to the Flower Essence people, or you talk to Nature's Remedies, or you talk to Freedom Flowers, each of those companies make hundreds of different varieties of essences, and it's really nearly impossible for anyone, even a practitioner, to have all of them. I mean, I have probably 100 essences here, and I'm not even close. There are things at every one of those companies that I don't have. Even just single remedies, we're not even talking about all the mixes and all of the blends and all of the things that are like set up for specific use cases. But if you only are going to have one, rescue remedy would be my go-to. Totally, completely. Put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, put it in your backpack, whatever. Energy work type things that don't require tools are great in emergency situations. Reiki is my go-to, but there are other things you could do. Like you could do rune blather, which is a system that was channeled actually by a guy here in Detroit that uses runes and some other symbols, and it uses them sort of the way Reiki works, but not exactly. It's hard to explain. I'm gonna have to actually get busy and put stuff together because I would like to teach a class on it, but I really would have to be a little more organized than I am right now. Needless to say, crisis schooling in a pandemic during protests with everything else that's going on, like, it's just a little crazy, and keeping track of everything is a little challenging. Ooh, so I see there's people. Who's watching? Say hi. So anyway, I think that everybody should learn some sort of energy work that they can just take with them and, like, apply as needed. Beyond that, I think the next couple of things you talk about in terms of, like, first aid, right, is maybe some stones. I would probably find some stones that are for healing or for calming or relaxing, that really speak to you, that you can get to know and can have a relationship with. And I would also consider looking at what else? I mean, you could use tinctures or you could use essential oils, but those come with the caveat that you have to know enough about the person you're using them with to know what they're allergic to, and, like, some of them have constraints in terms of what you can use if they're taking other medications or whatever. So I would be cautious about those sorts of things, honestly, especially in a crowd full of people. You don't know what people are doing. There is a nonprofit organization out there that does aromatherapy for crisis situations. I can't think of what their name is. United Aromatherapy something. Anyway, they have some special blends that they've put together for working in crisis situations that are usually in inhalers. And so I might put together something like that. They're all set up with labels and everything so that you can label your stuff and tell people exactly what's in it. And that's huge. It's hugely important if you are working with people that you don't know, like, that aren't part of your household or your family. What else? I mean, there's tons of other things you could do, but those are the sorts of things that I would think about first in terms of putting together, like, a magical, holistic first aid kit sort of deal. Because those are the things that you're going to find most useful, and you don't want to carry around a ton of stuff that's going to be really heavy and hard to manage. So, this week I am participating in the online vendor fair at Witches Tea Flint. You should look up their discussion group, or look for the event here on my page, and check that out. It's a first-time event for them, and they're going to explore. They're kind of sorting through, how do we do online events? How do we make this work for us and for everybody? I had been talking about doing a book club on bringing race to the table, which is an anthology from a few years ago about racism in pagan circles. And so I feel like we still need to do that. We probably need to do it more now than we did when we talked about it just a few months ago. Hilariously, at the time that I said I would do it, I couldn't find the book, which I own a copy of the book as a contributing author. And I knew I had seen it someplace and I just couldn't figure out where. And we looked everywhere. Every shelf, searched through the whole house. Last week I found it. On the shelf here in the office. Literally at eye level. Like, literally right here. Next to rune lore. So, now that I know where the book is, I need to go back to that post and start talking about that again, because clearly racism is a problem around here. It's a problem everywhere, and we need to figure out how to make it better. What else? I don't know. I still see a lot of folks around who are brand new, who are looking for help and looking for information. But, you can't just throw your questions out to the universe. You have to find people who are actually willing to talk to you and willing to answer questions. So if you have questions, feel free to ask here. And I will happily answer questions to the best of my ability. If you know people who are looking for information, you can point them here as well. I think it's time to get back to writing more. I don't know. I think that once in a while, and then I don't do it. So we'll just have to work through that and see. But I really think that that's where I'm going to head with things right now, because, like I said, time is sort of a little complicated, and getting some space to actually think and get anything done is a little complicated. So, what do you want to know about? What do you want to learn? I've done lots of different types of divination, lots of different types of healing and energy work. I've worked in several different systems of magic. So yeah, it's all out there and it's all an option. So let's talk about it. Post, comment, ask questions. Anything is fair game, and we'll figure it out. And if I don't know, we'll figure that out too. Got a whole freaking library here. We can figure out a lot of stuff that way. With that, I'm gonna sign off because there's nobody left online again. Talk to y'all later.